Everybody dies.
Hi guys, Mitch Cassidy here from Primetime Mitch, and I have actually just returned from seeing Osgood Perkins' horror comedy, The Monkey, and I wanted to give some thoughts immediately. I sort of gave a few on the street on the way out, but I now want to expand on that and talk in a spoiler-free way about my thoughts on this new release. First of all, lesson learned. I've not really listened to any taglines or noise about this movie. I've just gone in with an open mind, expecting something to be a little silly with comedy and some horror sprinkled over the top of it. I'm not looking for something too deep and too scary or anything like that, and thankfully that was the right thing to do. First off, I didn't have a bad experience with this movie. I quite enjoyed it. It was very watchable. I have actually read the Stephen King short story from Skeleton Crew, and it's very different to that. I feel there's a lot of elements that have been created and the humour ramped up in order to create this movie in this style. Now, Osgood Perkins obviously came out with Long Legs last year, and where I enjoyed the majority of that movie, I think there was a lot of things I would have changed about it, but one of the things I wouldn't change was how it looked. I love that retro style, and as soon as you see the credits come on in this movie, you know he is doing something similar with the visuals, so that's always a good thing. You know Stephen King is behind this story. The childhood trauma transferring to the adults. It's just his quirky kind of story that always lends well to adaptations on the big screen. And myself, as a fan of Final Destination, and I did avoid the trailer, by the way, I took a pee break while it was on. I like what they're going for in this movie. Basically, the premise is, and obviously this isn't a spoiler, everybody knows what this movie is about, but you have two twins and they have this toy monkey banging a drum, and this thing is not to be played with, it's not to be trifled with, it is evil, and every time somebody winds it up, it raises its sticks to bang that drum. Somebody around them ceases to exist in quite a gruesome, nasty, grim way, very akin to Final Destination. So that's where I was kind of interested to see this, because I am a little bit of a chaos carnage hound when it comes to things like that. And when it starts off, what they give me in terms of that is fun. It's interesting. Some of it's quite original and unique. So I did enjoy that. What I will say at the beginning in particular, I'm not sort of doing this as positives and negatives. I kind of just let it flow and how I was thinking at the time from beginning to end. I thought the humour in this movie at the beginning and really throughout was a bit flat. I thought some of it was quite cheap. In particular, you'll see there's a moment with a priest. I just felt nothing from that. I thought it was really cheaply done. I didn't think the humour was particularly strong in that, and not very believable either. I mean, I'm not saying everything's got to be realistic as hell before I can think about finding it funny, but that just was so absurd. It just went past being funny for me, and that kind of grated on me throughout. I felt there was quite a lot of that. In terms of dark humour, some of the cuts, some of the edits are quite funny. I think it's more the dialogue. I was sort of not a fan of the dialogue more than the actual presentation. I think as a short story, this movie probably works better. Something like Creepshow would have been good as a platform to show this, because there's only so much you can extract out of this story, and there is no real multitude of directions it can go down. And I am, in particular, confused about certain aspects of this film. I don't want to obviously give them away, but there are certain parts of this movie where I was saying, well, how would he know to find him there, or why would that happen? And also, this is supposed to be a movie that takes you back to 1999 at one point, and you feel like you're in 1979. Some of the costumes and the feel of it are a little too retro. This is where Osgood Perkins' retro look probably doesn't lend too well, especially with the way people are kitted out. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I need to watch it again. But I did feel like it was going back a lot further than what it was suggesting. I think the acting and the performances are quite good, where I think the humour does fall flat. I think it's still convincing. I think Theo James does a very good job as a very different kind of father to the one in the book, but nevertheless still a believable one when you know why he is the way he is. It's nice to see Rowan Campbell back in a big movie after Halloween Ends. I'm one of the rare people that really likes that one. Elijah Wood's cameo is a lot shorter than I expected, but still, he does what's needed. Tatiana Maslany, really good performance. Even though I wasn't a big fan of the dialogue, I still think she was one of the best aspects of this film. And I was a little confused at the end by a certain scene, which, although I know what it's hinting at, it kind of left me a bit taken aback in a not so positive way. It almost reminds me of one of the bizarrest scenes in one of my favourite movies of all time, Cloverfield. I'll just leave you with that scene, and then when it comes around, you could probably try and make up your own connections with that. But overall, I am just so happy we're seeing movies like this in the cinemas now, and they are hitting big numbers and they are being appreciated and put out there to the masses, because we are entering a very exciting time for the horror genre, and the more stuff we see like this, the better. This is, I believe, a very high percentage comedy to horror, but still it's got that horror base to work on. And though I might not have enjoyed it as much as I was hoping I was going to enjoy it, I'm still all for these kind of movies, and you keep throwing them out and I will keep going and watching them, as will many others. I hope you go see The Monkey and give me your thoughts down below in the comments. If you agree or disagree, that's the beauty of movies, and certainly in the horror genre. We all have something that we enjoy. There is something for everybody. So thanks guys, appreciate it. Like I said, if you want to drop a comment below, talk about this movie to me, I will gladly reply in quick time. And hit a like on the video and subscribe to the channel with that notification bell clicked for future content, of which there will be much. Thank you very much, have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you very soon on Primetime Mitch.